Hello and welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Raven, and I'm very glad you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. I mean, really rather exceptionally. We have the author of this book, Pyramids Around the World, Dr. Semir Osmanagic, who is here from Bosnia, but also from Texas. He is an international global trotter who goes around the world teaching about and educating people on the subject of a pyramid in Bosnia and pyramids in general. But this is a particular discovery of his that was really unknown until he came across this. And it's said to be as old and perhaps older than the Egyptian pyramids, and has some distinctions about which he'll be speaking in this show, and you'll be able to see some footage, some of the images of it. He has a distinguished career going from a master's in international economics to a PhD in Mayan civilization. He's also been appointed to the Russian Academy of Sciences as the youngest member of this distinguished academy. It's really rather extraordinary, and he's a professor in Sarajevo. So, with all of this incredible learning that you have done, Semir, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Mitch.
Absolutely, dobro. It's really a pleasure. Dobar dan. One of my favorite languages is his native language, Serbo-Croatian. So, what is it that got you curious about this in the first place? Obviously, you were already a Mayan, so the whole idea of pyramids was interesting to you. But why would you look in Bosnia for a pyramid instead of Cairo?
You see, the ancient world was the world of pyramids. What they teach us is completely wrong. They tell us the pyramids are built only in Egypt and Mexico. And that's wrong. That's just the beginning of the story. Almost 10,000 pyramids in the Central America. Besides Mexico, it's Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador.
Well,
Belize.
some of us know that there are pyramids in many different countries.
Yes, like China, 250 of them.
250.
Like Peru, 300
This
of
is
them.
a volume that is beyond certainly most people's
Like Sudan,
knowledge.
224.
Really?
Like southern France, like...
Now, are all of these you would call Semir pyramids, or are they pyramid-like, or what?
They are pyramids because there are certain criteria that the pyramid has to fulfill in order to be called a pyramid. Mm-hmm. I've been investigating the pyramids for the last 25 years, and there are 5 elements that needs to be there. The first one is geometry. You have to have triangular faces, in most cases 4 of them. The second one is the orientation. For some reason, all the pyramids in China are oriented towards the north. East, west, north, south. Most of them in Egypt, all of them in Peru, most of them on US soil, and the Bosnian pyramids also. The third element is the construction.
Are oriented toward the north?
Yes. So, the northern star. Because the northern orientation was extremely important for the ancient people. Mm-hmm. The third element, construction material. In all these cases, we do have construction material. Sometimes in Peru, it's adobe brick. In Guatemala, it's volcanic stone. In Egypt, it's limestone. In Bosnia, it's sandstone. The fourth element are the passageways and chambers inside the pyramid. And the fifth, underground tunnels. So if the pyramids fulfill all these 5 elements, yes, we can call them the pyramid complex, or the true pyramid. So really,
what are the general, what is the range of dates that you've been able to detect between these pyramids?
There is a big difference between...
it's kind of a big and awkward question because they're in so many places as diverse as Sudan and China and South America. And also in North America, I imagine there are some as well?
Yes.
Are there?
Here on the US soil, in Illinois, yes.
In the Midwest, right.
Yes. Now, when you ask about the dates, there is a difference between the mainstream scientific view, which places the oldest pyramid in Egypt. Saqqara officially is 4,700 years old. Pyramids on the Giza Plateau, 4,500, but the pyramids in China, Peru, Mexico, officially, they go up to 2,200 years. And that's all wrong. Because the oldest, the biggest, the most superior pyramids, they go over 12,000 years before the present.
Wait a minute. When you say 2,000 to 2,500, BC or ago?
I said before,
from today.
Before present. So it
Before
means
present.
2,200 years in the past.
So whatever.
So it's
Oh,
nothing
gosh,
like
it's nothing.
the Emperor Qin in
500,
China.
600, 500 BC.
Yes,
E.
couple of hundred BC. Like that's what they said for Teotihuacan or Shanxi pyramids in China, or some in Peru, Cavachi or Tucumbe. But that's mainstream science.
Yes.
But in reality, they are much older. You go to Peru, you can
I like
see...
that phrase, Semir. In mainstream science, but in reality.
Yes.
Those are two big differences.
The distinction between exactly reality and what was really happening in the past and what people now want to see. They want to fit those pyramids in what they want to do. But anyway, so the role of the pyramids was very, very exciting for me. So when I started my investigation and I got...
So in a sense, it goes all the way from anywhere like 2,000 to 12,500 years based on what you've seen already.
The interesting thing is the biggest pyramids are at the same time the oldest and the most superior. So our theory of evolution does not apply here. What does it tell us? It tells us that people in the past were more advanced than our civilization. So 6 years ago, I went to Bosnia and they invited me to this little town of Visoko to visit the local museum for entirely different reason than the pyramids. I came there and then I'm seeing the hill, regularly shaped, four-sided pyramid, corners so obvious. I took my compass, it shows perfect east, west, north and south.
But it appeared as a hill.
Yes, because it is covered by soil and vegetation. But then, most of the people think of pyramids like Egyptian pyramids on Giza Plateau, you can see the blocks, but that's desert. When you go north, it's much more green. China, Bosnia, or Mexico, you got so much forests and jungles, so it's logical that after thousands of years, you got those structures covered by soil and dirt. And that's exactly what we had in Bosnia. But when I saw the mere size of it, they were much bigger than Egyptian pyramids. In the last 6 years, we have completely new...
Is there one in Bosnia or many?
It is 5 of them, which I named the Bosnian Pyramids of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Earth, and Love, and huge network of underground tunnels.
Connecting one to the other?
Exactly. So in the last 6 years, we've been running the scientific project, and we've spent 340,000 hours in archaeological digging, sample testing, radiocarbon dating, with the conclusion that we discovered the biggest pyramid complex on the planet. We have 7 elements that forever changed the human history. Number 1, these are the first pyramids in Europe. Number 2, these are the biggest, the largest on the planet. The Khufu's pyramid in Egypt, 450 feet. The Bosnian pyramid of the Sun, 700 feet. The element number 3.
Leave it to the Slavs, I tell you.
The number
It's a good
3,
thing I'm Slavic.
Yes.
Did you know that?
You are? Oh, I see. When we measured the orientation of the pyramids, so far we thought that the Great Pyramid of Egypt has the best orientation. The error is 0 degrees and only 2 minutes, the fraction of 1 degree. When the Institute for Geodesy from Bosnia came and measured the orientation of the northern side of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, they concluded the error is 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and only 12 seconds. So that's number 3. Number 4, when we uncovered some sections of the Sun Pyramid in Bosnia, we found rectangular blocks.
The Sun is the largest?
The Sun is the largest. We found rectangular blocks. We analyzed them in 6 different scientific institutes in Bosnia, Italy, and France. And they confirmed this was an artificial concrete. They measured the hardness. It is 3 times harder than our best concretes. So this is the best quality concrete on the planet. Number 5.
Can we reverse engineer it?
We could, But obviously we have lost some of the formulas that ancient people knew. They knew the planet better than we do. They did not have internet or computers or cameras, but they knew the planet, the elements, the natural materials, how to put them together.
Sure.
Number 5,
we're using the internet and computers and everything just to try to reassemble what humanity once knew.
But
it's sort of like the collective, it's an electronic collective unconscious that we're trying to bring to consciousness, you know?
We rely so much on it. So we are losing some of our mental capabilities.
And intuition, I agree.
Yes. The 5th element, so 1, geometry, 2nd, orientation, 3rd, best quality concrete, 4th, the best orientation, the best precision orientation. The 5th, we had the Bosnian Institute for Pedology analyzed the age of soil that covers the pyramid. The soil is over 12,000 years old, meaning that the pyramids were built even before that. Egyptians are officially 4,600.
They dated the soil.
Yes.
That's on top
of the pyramids. That's the 5th element. So now we have all these pyramids on the planet. Number 6, under the pyramids, we have tunnels. We have them in Saqqara in Egypt, we have the Giza Plateau in Egypt, Shanxi province in China, Teotihuacan in Mexico. You always have underground tunnels. But in Bosnia, we have the biggest, the most extensive network of underground tunnels, chambers, underground lakes. It runs for tens of miles, and we can walk through them. This is the element number 6. And number 7, in those tunnels,
God himself was found.
And number 7, we are discovering a huge megalithic blocks in those underground tunnels. We analyze those blocks. They are ceramic, artificial ceramic. So we have ceramic sculptures, and they go up to 18,000 pounds. In archaeology, we got used on small ceramic vases, ceramic dishes. Here we have 18,000 pounds. Everything in Bosnia is big and biggest. So those 7 elements forever change our view of the ancient history, not only of Europe, but of the whole world.
Since you've gone back so far, so elegantly, have you come across any archaeology that you would refer to Atlantis through? Anything that would help to corroborate the Atlantean, or for that matter, Lemurian civilizations?
When you say Atlanteans, you probably want to go before the end of the last ice age, 12,500 plus years before present. What we are discovering all over the world are the physical traces, the physical proof of very advanced megalithic civilizations before the end of the last ice age. For example, the triangle between Japan, Taiwan and China, 13 underwater cities were discovered in the last 15 years. The first one was south from the Unaguni Island, and you can clearly see megalithic sites, you can see stepped pyramidal shaped temples on the top.
Yes, I've seen some of that footage.
Yes, the last time when the Pacific Ocean rose for 250 feet, and that's how deep are those cities, was when the huge quantities of ice melted 12,500 years ago. It means that at one time they were on the surface, and now they're on the bottom of the Pacific.
Right.
Then, when you see the Peruvian pyramids, Cavachi, Tucumán, 250 pyramids, you can clearly see vertical erosion. Now, the mainstream scientists are claiming those pyramids to be 1,800, 2,000, 2,200 years old. The problem is, in the last 7,000 years, there was no change in climate. It's been desert, dry climate. Vertical erosion is there because of the storms, because of the rains.
Yes.
And we have not seen rains there for thousands and thousands of years. It means the pyramids were built even before that. Some of the oldest Mexican pyramids, Quiquilco, near the Mexico City, it's over 10,000 years. We know that the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan, underneath, has huge caverns, 4 chambers that they were enlarged, man-made, 12,000 plus years ago. So we are getting to the fact that the biggest pyramids in Mexico, in China, in Peru, in Egypt, in Bosnia,
12,500
older than 12,000
earlier.
years. So now we need
Yeah.
to change the beginning.
Yeah.
And once you change the beginning, everything else that follows has to be changed.
So what do you think from that point of view of the redating of the Sphinx, the work of John Anthony West and his team?
They are right. They are completely right.
Yeah.
Because the Sphinx has been there over 12,000 years also.
Right.
The biggest pyramids, what they claim to be Cheops, Khafre, Mycene, with not a single proof. They are much, much older than the pharaonic Egypt. Actually, all the biggest pyramids there, the pyramids that they assigned to Pharaoh Sneferu, the red, bent, and the step in Meidum, they are much, much older than the pharaohs. Besides, in the pharaonic times, they did not have tools to shape those blocks, because copper tools are on the scale of hardness from 1 to 6, number 3, and the granite is number 6, much, much more superior. You cannot shape granite with inferior tools.
There are two main questions that really occur to me, Semir. This is all incredibly fascinating. But there are two main things. One is, what was the purpose of the pyramids? And ultimately, what does it mean that they were there and they're now being discovered? What are the implications for us? Of course, there's one staring us in the face, which is that human civilization far predates the common understanding. I'll call it the academic understanding, And among many of us, that's not news. So I'd like to know what these discoveries really mean. I know it means one thing to the academic community, but to the rest of us. And what was the functionality? What was the role of these pyramids in all of these different societies?
We've had 200 years of Egyptology trying to figure that one out, and we've lost 200 years. Now, Peruvian, Mexican, Chinese pyramids.
They've been mainly British armchair, philosophers.
They claim they were tombs for the pharaohs. They were not a single proof for that. No mummies in the biggest pyramids, no hieroglyphic writings, no royal furniture, no bones, no tools, no nothing, not a single proof. And thanks to people like Zahi Hawass, Egyptologists, and Hollywood, somehow people think, yeah, they were tombs. Well, the pharaohs were buried, but 200 miles south in the Valley of Kings. Now, we in Bosnia, we are doing the pioneering work on pyramid science. And if you go back to the cover page of my book, which is there, you will get the answer, what was the purpose of these structures? We call them constructions. Well, of course, it does have all the property of the pyramid. But instead of using only the archaeologists, we've been using physicists, people who are experienced in electromagnetic fields. And what we have found out so far is so exciting. Not only that we've been changing the past with this project in Bosnia, but we are going to change the future. Why? When we measure the pyramid for the electromagnetic anomalies,
I'm beginning to see.
Yeah, we had instruments that can measure within the hertz, kilohertz, megahertz, and gigahertz ranges. And we were checking the pyramids around, no anomalies.
Yes.
But when we came to the very top, to the center, we could detect in the radius of 13 feet the energy beam coming from the center of the pyramid. That energy beam is continuous because we were there for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, continuous coming to the center. Not off the center to the left or to the right on the sides, no, only to the center. And then most amazing...
And you could feel it, it was tangible? Was it visible also?
It is the frequency of 28 kilohertz. That is the frequency of the ultrasound, which we cannot hear. Everything below 20 kilohertz we can.
Sure.
28 we cannot. Also, the energy beam in that frequency
is outside the visible
see.
range.
We cannot see that, humans. But it is there. it can be detected, it can be measured by our instruments. Extremely important. For the first time in the pyramid science, this is what we did in Bosnia. But probably the most exciting thing came when we were measuring the strength of the signal. We put the instruments on the surface and we could read one strength. We lifted up for 13 feet. The strength was higher, stronger. We lifted up for another 13 feet, it was even stronger. So it contradicts our physical laws. It contradicts the technology as we know it, which says closer to the source, the stronger the signal. And the opposite, if you move away from the source, the signal is weaker.
It's
now,
like, it sounds like a scalar wave is what it sounds like.
Yes, we have something that we can call generally non-Hertzian technology.
Right.
Something completely different.
Outside of the classical physicists' paradigm.
And the only guy who experimented with the non-Hertzian technology,
Tesla,
was exactly.
and he's a countryman.
And you were there.
I know where he
you
was
went through
from.
this country. It was about a couple of 100 kilometers from the town of Visoko and the Bosnian pyramids. What he did 120 years ago in his lab in Colorado Springs, he produced what he called Tesla coil, some type of the transformer, transducer. And he sent the energy wirelessly 120 years ago. And that energy was using the ionosphere, the energy from this planet. And it was getting stronger and stronger. And basically he was able to light up 20,000 homes in Colorado Springs. So he had a free energy. He had a wireless transportation with no loss. And he had unlimited quantities of energy 120 years ago. Of course, the big corporations didn't like that because they wouldn't be able to build nuclear
JP Morgan loved it. What are you talking about?
Well, with the free energy, we are getting base for the free society.
Playing with you. Yes.
There is no profit economy. So after 120 years, we have another example of the free energy because
going back 12,000, 15,000
somebody
years.
in the distant past starting this machine, and it's been working since.
Right.
And this machine is the first case of perpetual mobile.
Motion.
Energy.
Exactly.
Motion. Somebody put it in motion then.
Exactly.
So when I told you that we had a potential to change our future, here it is. The biggest, the oldest, the most superior. So these are not construction, these are not structures, even though they are built from the construction material. These are machines. Built by someone
They're
more advanced.
energy-producing machines, and that's on the outer level. But no doubt, if you were to spend any time in those pyramids next to that neutral energy flowing, it's going to go right up the spine. And, I mean, it's like a picture of the Kundalini.
Excellent. Now, the Bosnian miracles do not end here. I mentioned the underground labyrinth. Tens of miles of the tunnels. You know that in our real life, like in this room here, we are exposed to the cosmic radiation, which is damaging to our body. We are exposed to the radioactivity from our planet, which is damaging to our body.
Some in each case, not all of it.
Yes. Then you have Hartmann grids, also bad. You have Schneider's grids. You have underground water flows, negative energy.
But then you've got the Schumann resonance also.
Yes. Well, yeah, but the negative radiations are stronger than the other one because our planet is not so strong like before. But my point is, our body cells been fighting all these negative radiations all our lives. They don't have a time to do what they're supposed to do.
Rebuild.
To balance the energy in our body.
Rebuild.
Very good. Rebuild, regenerate, and so on. Now, when we went into those underground tunnels in Bosnia, we measured with the instruments, not with the pendulum, with the instruments, the presence of negative radiations. They were not there. All the results were zero. In other words, tens of miles of underground tunnels are the safest, the most secured area under the planet, in this planet. And they're under the pyramids. Now, When I
I now
went there,
know where I want to move, Semir.
well, I moved to Bosnia.
As the world is falling apart,
Exactly
I now
right.
know.
Listen, I've been in Houston for 20 years, and this January I moved back to Bosnia, to Sarajevo, with the reason to work on this project. Now, what happened? They measured me, my health condition, before entering the underground tunnels and after. And you see what happened? When I came back, they found out that cells started communicating and they were getting the energy when it was needed the most. So they were balancing out, work of our organs. And secondly, they started getting rid of the toxins that have been in our body for decades. So this is a place to regenerate human body, to revitalize human body, and now the whole thing makes sense. You have the pyramids above the ground, the huge energy generators, and you have the healing spots underground. Because
The
that's
entire
the point.
idea of ancient Greek healing and spirituality largely actually pivoted on this idea of incubation. And the whole Asclepian model, really originally, was that people would go into retreats
Yes.
and be in touch with their dream world, and in that place regenerate and as well as get the psychic impressions of how to live a life
Exactly. And the
and
only way
integrate themselves.
The only way to explain the pyramids all around the world is to look at them through three aspects: the physical, but that's not enough,
No.
energy, and spiritual. And then we can have comprehensive view, and then we can explain them. And that's why our project in Bosnia is so important globally.
I think that's fabulous. I really do. I want to just thank you, Hvala.
Yes, thank you.
So appreciate it.
And we need people to visit us as a tourist,
Yes.
volunteers, and the researchers. Bosnia is beautiful.
Oh, it truly is. I'll vouch for that. It's fabulous. Thank you so much for your good work. Keep it up. We'll have you back again. And I'd love to go there and, with the camera,
You're welcome.
and go through, truly. It's I have some Yugoslav blood, by the way.
Yes, I
Primarily
can see
Ukrainian, but a little Yugoslav. Thanks again, Semir. It's great
Thank you.
work. This is Mitchell J. Rabin for A Better World. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. This is stunning breakthrough material that really just shifts the paradigm yet again further at a time of history where we need that paradigm shifted quickly. Thanks again for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you all next week.